Hey again everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another new figure showcase. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, this is a series where I do a quick review of a newer release I'm adding into the collection. And just give you some of my thoughts. Most often, it will be a newer release, but there are exceptions here and there. So for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Hot Toys 6-scale version of She-Hulk from the Disney Plus show. And it did feel like this figure kept getting delayed, at least for me, because I ordered from Sideshow. But they're finally in hand, so very excited to get a new Marvel character in 6-scale form. Although, I do know the series the figure is based on was probably one of the most poorly received shows that Marvel put out. Now, we're here to look at the figure, so I'm not going to go too deep into the show. I'll just say I thought the character of She-Hulk was solid, and obviously there were some great moments, like seeing Daredevil back in action, and surprisingly seeing Wong and his interactions with Madison. But for me, the show was very disjointed, and I'm not as familiar with the She-Hulk character from the comics other than her crossover appearances, so not sure if this is the style of storytelling for her standalone. But like I said, we're here to take a look at the figure, and at least for me, Marvel is taking a life of its own, where while I like the properties, I'm just starting to look forward to adding new cinematic versions of Marvel heroes to the shelf. And as we look at what Hot Toys is giving us here, you'll notice that it's not much, so expect this to be a fairly short review. As you can see, besides the figure, which is pretty tall, as should be expected, all you're getting are a number of spare hands, a cell phone, the small piece that lets you move and adjust the rolling eyes, and a standard display stand, which, I'll be honest, I don't think she totally needs, but that depends entirely on the type of pose you're going for, since she is a little heavy from the body with the smallish feet. So again, not much. Would I have expected more? Not particularly, and given the reception to the show, I'm happy we even got her, because you've seen how Hot Toys has stopped giving us releases from every Marvel property. But as we normally do, let's take a look at the accessories a little bit more closely, and we'll start with the hands. You do get a decent number here to create a number of poses. Detail on these is great with the nice delineation of the nails, although it is very similar paint used, so it looks fine, although it blends in together. Hands themselves have some nice details to them, and the paint app on the fingers in particular is overall great, matching the arms and the rest of the figure's body, and just having enough slight color variation with some darker greens here and there that it makes it look a little bit real. But you can already see the type of poses you'll be able to achieve. Next accessory is the phone, and look, kind of blah to be honest. It's just a piece of unpainted black plastic with a sticker on it. Just feel like we could have gotten something better, and we've seen better from other companies. Even the sticker is a little dull. The back has some details like showing the camera lenses and some buttons along the side, but nothing terribly exciting. So this figure is pretty much going to come down to impressing us on its own. Not going to be saved by the accessories at all. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the sculpt. Now, I have a bright light on it, so the green is popping a little more than it does in hand, but it looks amazing. Paint apps on the face with the slight wrinkle lines on the forehead, really well done. Now, one thing that is interesting, and we've noticed Hot Toys doing this more often, is that instead of giving us just a standard stoic face, they're adding some more expressive sculpts. This one isn't as extreme of an expression as some other figures, but they did give her a slight smile. I think it actually works given her personality, but it does limit you a little bit if you were hoping for more of an action serious pose. I do appreciate it though, since it's a little different, and again, detail work is outstanding. The eyes too have the distinctive green to them and look striking and real, which Hot Toys has been killing lately. Then we get to the hair. I really like this. It's big, which matches the look from the show, but there's also some great detail work in hand, with different layers and the great detail along the bottom at the tips. Hot Toys is really doing great work with the sculpted hair. Now, the rest of the figure is pretty nice. I have to admit, it's very simple though. The body is a custom with seamless arms and legs, which look fantastic. Paint apps again, just nice, giving you that Hulk green color. Suit is interesting. It is screen accurate and basically a workout jumpsuit that has a nice mix of purple, which is classic, along with the black and white panels. Suit is also textured. It does include stripes and detailing along the sides that I think is pretty standard now for the MCU. The arms and legs have nice musculature definition, and the sneakers are again okay. Nothing special or fancy, but they look decent. So overall, really nice looking figure. Hand swapping is simple. Pegs aren't extremely tight, so you don't need to heat anything up. So let's talk positives. Posability is pretty good. Suit isn't restrictive at all, and the seamless arms and legs do have a nice range of motion, so posing was pretty straightforward. And you can have her achieve some nice looking stances like the hand clap attack, hands posed on hips, etc. But I do feel like it's more of a museum pose figure, and while the cell phone works, I don't know that it's a very critical accessory. And given the scale here, there just really isn't much to it other than to see it in her hand. And you're not going to see any detail work, so again, maybe that explains why Hot Toys went a little cheap. Now, could Hot Toys have given us another look like the lawyer version? Sure. But again, given the reception to the show, not surprised they didn't do that. So that's about it. Overall, I am a little biased as a big MCU fan, so I'll say I'm happy to have her in hand. But taking that bias away or trying to take it out of the equation, she is a very simple figure. Doesn't mean it's bad, right? Simple doesn't mean bad. And the key here was, did they do a good job with the sculpt? And I think they did a great job with it. But not sure this is a figure that's going to appeal to absolutely everyone. But if you are a fan of the character, even in comics, this might be the only chance to get her, at least for a bit. I have to imagine she might make an appearance in the upcoming Avengers movies, so knowing Hot Toys, they'll jump at the chance to reuse the body and potentially the sculpt. But that was pretty much it. No issues with mine. Great figure overall, although not the most exciting, especially in light of everything we've been getting. But can't complain really overall. But as always, thanks for watching, and if you want, drop a comment and we'll touch base on the next video.